Today we are going to start with the seventh adhyay, that is Gyan Vigyan Yog. That is the knowledge of the ultimate truth. And there are 30 shlokas. Now this chapter, it begins with Bhagwan describing the material and the spiritual dimensions of God's energies. He explains that similar to beads strung on a single thread, all these energies have originated from him, and all these energies, they again rest in him. So the entire creation begins and dissolves into him. So whatever that we see in this universe, it has come from him. He is the originator. And everything will dissolve again, go back to him. Now here Bhagwan has described in a very beautiful way, beads strung on a single thread. This way of explanation has also come in Patanjali. When we say that Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we say that Patanjali has strung the beads of yoga in one thread, and that is Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Similarly, Bhagwan also, when we are talking about the origination and the how the world was created and how it is going to be dissolved. So everything goes back to the beads strung on a single thread. So everything has come from him and everything is going to be dissolved back in him. Now in this adhyay, Bhagwan talks about two things, that is para prakriti and apara prakriti. Very important. Now para prakriti is ashtadha prakriti. Ashta means 8. So what are these 8 things? So earth, water, fire, air, space. That is the Panchamahabhut. Then mind, intellect, and ego. These are the 8 components of our material energy. So these 8 components are the Paraprakriti. Similarly, Aparaprakriti, Bhagwan tells us that superior to these materialistic things is the energy, which is Aparaprakriti. In this is the Jiva Shakti or the soul energy, which comprises the embodied souls who are the basis of life in this world. So Apara Prakriti, according to Bhagwan, is much, much superior to Para Prakriti. Para is all the materialistic things that we see in the world. The energy which creates all the materialistic things is Para. And the energy which a jiva has, or the soul energy that we call, is called as apara prakriti. Now, Bhagwan says that I am the source of creation. Everything, the materialistic things, the soul, everything was created from me, and everything is going to be dissolved. So everything means what? So that is described in a beautiful way. I am the taste in water, the radiance of the sun and the moon, the sacred syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, that is also me. The sound in ether, the ability in the humans, everything is me. I am the pure fragrance of the earth, the brilliance in fire, and I am the life force of all living beings, and the penance of the ascetics. That means the sadhus or the sages who deny themselves of all the pleasures, of bodily pleasure as well as the pleasures that arise out of all the senses. They deny themselves from all the pleasure. They detach themselves from all the things in the universe for self-purification, and they attain self-purification. So the force or the capacity or the energy, where does this come from? That they want detachment. They get that energy to control their senses. That strength, that mental power, from where does it come? So Bhagwan tells us that it comes from him itself. I am the eternal seed of all the beings. Now here Bhagwan is saying that he is the seed. Originator means again a seed. How a plant grows from a tree. Similarly, everything in the universe has come from the seed that is Bhagwan. So seed here is referred to Bhagwan. I am the intellect of intelligent, the splendor of glorious. That means we are, if you have completed with Yog Darshan, or if you have completed Sankhya Darshan, especially in Sankhya, what Kapil Rishi tells us is about Purush and Prakriti. So it is Prakriti from whom everything in the universe has come into existence. When Purush and Prakriti, they came together, then from the three gunas, the entire universe, everything that you see in this world, that came into existence. So again, Bhagwan is here telling us that the cause and effect in every relation, every cause is the seed of its effect. That means seed is the cause. From the seed, a plant grows or a tree grows. So what is the cause of a tree or a plant? A seed. And what is the effect? The plant or the tree that grows from it. Now, here I've just given a simple example that an ocean is the seed of the clouds. We all have studied science, so we know ocean, okay? Due to the heat received from the sun, the water, it evaporates, it goes up, then it condenses, and then clouds are formed, and then it condenses and it rains. So Bhagwan tells us that just as the ocean is the seed of the clouds, from the ocean, clouds are formed. And from the clouds, it rains. So the seed of the rain is cloud. Similarly, Bhagwan says that he is the cause of the eternal seed from which everything in this universe has come into existence. He's the strength, he is the willpower, he is everything. He is the power that helps us to fulfill all the duties and our responsibilities. Whatever we do, it is because of the strength or the power that we receive from him. Even the sexual activity Bhagwan talks about over here, that sensual pleasure, Bhagwan tells us that it should be carried only as a duty for the reason of procreation. Then it is fine, then it is okay. So sexual activity should also be done, should also be treated as a duty, and one should perform. But what should be the reason? The sole reason for sexual activity should be procreation, because that is very important. Bhagwan Shri Krishna has mentioned that in the institution of marriage, one should have the sexual activity. He is controlled, virtuous, and well-intended sexual activity of a householder, because it is a duty of a householder to grow his family. Now, 4 types of bhakta, very important from exam point of view. 4 types of bhakta have been described or discussed in this chapter. For exam, you have to learn the sequence also, the sequence of the bhaktas. Because in exam, they do ask the sequence also. Chaturvidha bhajante mai jana sukruti norjana arto jigyasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. So Bhagwan tells us that there are 4 kinds of virtuous men or bhakta. So, and which are they? The first is the dissatisfied, or we say as a distressed. Second is the seeker of knowledge, or we can say jigyasu, who is very curious to gain knowledge. Third is the seeker of wealth, that means artharthi. And the fourth is the wise man, that means the jnani. So let's understand what does Bhagwan mean over here. So first is artha. Artha bhakt means the distressed. So here a beautiful example of Draupadi. Draupadi, the situation where Draupadi Vasraran was taking place. At that time, when nobody was coming to her help, she pleaded everyone in the courtroom, Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, everyone, even her husbands, but no one came to her help. At that time, she was very sad and helpless also. Then what she did? She thought of or called out Sri Krishna for help because she was very distressed. She was very dejected. And at that time, Sri Krishna came and he helped and protected Draupadi. So, Artha means a person who calls out God only when he is sad or when he needs help. That is Artha. So, when he needs help or protection, at that time, he calls the Lord. That is Artha. Second is Jikyasu. Jikyasu, that means the knowledge seeker. That means those who are curious to know about what is God, how to attain Him, what to do, what are the ways. So they have a lot of questions. They're very curious about knowledge, about Paramatma. Those bhakt are called as Jikyasu. The third type is Artharthi. Artharthi means the seekers of worldly possessions. That means they pray to Lord or they remember Lord only when they want money, wealth, prosperity. So we can say that they're a little selfish. Artha, that means money. So whenever they want anything related to greed or money, prosperity for themselves, at that time they seek God. And the fourth is Gyani. Gyani is someone who is always situated in the thought of God, who knows, those who know the truth that everything in this universe are different parts of God. Such people, they are always engaged in the devotion of the God, in the thought of God, and every action that they do, it is for the God. So here, four types of bhaktas are discussed: Arth, Jikyasu, Artharthi, and Jnani. Now, out of this, Bhagavan told us that, okay, these are the four categories or types of bhakt. Which of them is the best? Who is dearest to the God? So, Bhagavan tells us that amongst all these four, the one who is dear to me is the one who is always situated in him, who engages in activities which are devoted to him, who offers all the actions to God. So, who is dearest to Bhagavan? Jnani. So, in the exam, if the question comes, which bhakta is Sreshta, or which bhakta is dearest to God, then the answer should be Jnani. I have given the question here. Which bhakta is loved by Bhagavan or adored by Bhagavan or Shrestha? I have changed the sequence here. If such a question comes, then the answer is Jnani. Next adhyay, 8th adhyay, Akshar Brahma Yoga. The imperishable. Akshar means someone who cannot be, something that cannot be destroyed. Imperishable, eternal, which was there, which is there, and which will always be there. Akshar. Shlokas. How many shlokas are there? 28 shlokas are there. In this, Bhagavan is discussing about the different, more about Brahma. Arjun asks Bhagavan that what is Brahma? What is the absolute reality? What is the real truth? What is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adi Bhut? What is Adi Daiv? What is Adi Yagya? So Bhagavan tells, Arjun is asking Bhagavan about all these questions. And he also asks that, oh Krishna, how are you to be known at the time of death by those of steadfast mind? How should I attain you after death? Or how should people know that they can attain you while they are breathing the last breath? So at that time, whatever Bhagavan tells Arjun is described in the further shlokas. But before that, let's understand in short what is Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adibhut, Adidev, and Adi Yagya. Now, Brahma, Bhagavan tells us that Brahma is the supreme, the unperishable, the unchanging. He was there in the past, present, and future. He is eternal. What is Adhyatma? Adhyatma is one's individual self, the consciousness that we have, the supreme consciousness. That is Adhyatma. What is the Karma? Karma is the cause of the existence, the manifestation and sustenance. Adibhut, the Adibhut means all the five elements, Pancha Mahabhutas, that we find in the universe of what we are made up of, that is Adibhut. Even the intellect, the mind, the senses, everything. Adideva is the universal soul or the divine intelligence. I'm telling you this only because you should know these words from exam point of view. It has not been asked till now. And Adi Yakya is the presiding deity of all the sacrifices. Now, Adi Deva here means actually Purush, and Adi Yagya means the Lord himself residing in the body. The one inside this body who is residing in every cell, every muscle, every corner of our body, that is Adi Yagya, which is the Lord himself. Then whoever remembers him at the time of death attains him and becomes God-like character. So during the last breath, Bhagwan says that when a person is dying, if you think of Bhagwan, then that person will attain Bhagwan. Whatever one remembers upon giving up the body at the time of death, one attains that state, being always absorbed in such contemplation. Now, discussion on Samadhi. So here we understood that during the last breath, whatever thought is there in our mind, that is going to be something that, or the place where we are going to be. So if you're thinking of God, we will attain him. If you're thinking or worried of something else, our further journey will also be like that. So it is very important. Bhagwan tells us that our thoughts, how should be our thoughts when a person is dying? That if at all you're breathing your last breath, then always think of God. Always think of Bhagwan. Discussion on Samadhi in 8.10. One who at the time of death with unmoving mind attained by the practice of yoga fixes the pran between the eyebrows and steadily remembers the divine Lord with great devotion certainly attains him. So Bhagavan is telling that at the time of the death, if you remember Lord, and also along with that, if you fix your attention, your concentration at the center of your eyebrows, then you can attain him. Uttering one syllable Om and also chant one syllable Om. That means you should chant Om. Now here it is not specified whether you should chant it loudly or in your mind. Even if you do it in your mind, it is fine. So if you want to attain Bhagwan, what person needs to do? The person, the dying person, he should remember God. He should fix his attention at the center of the eyebrows. And the third thing is that he should chant Om. When a person follows these three things, at the time of the death, he will attain Bhagwan. Now, day and night, according to Brahma, what is day and what is night? For us, what is day? When the sun rises, it is day. When the sun sets, it is night. But according to Brahma, what is day and night? This is also very important from exam point of view. Sahasra Yug Paryatnam. That means a day, 1 day of Brahma. 1 day for Brahma is 1000 cycle of our 4 ages. We have 4 yugas: Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, and Kali Yug. So these are the 4 yug. Now 1000 cycles of 4 yugs is 1 day for Brahma. Similarly, one night for Brahma is again 1000 cycles of all the four ages that we call as Mahayug. So in exam, it can be asked that one day for Bhagwan is 100 cycles of four ages, 10 cycles, 1000 cycles, or 10,000 cycles. So you have to remember one day or one night for Bhagwan is 1000 cycles of the four ages. Which are the four ages? Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, and Kali Yug. And this is extra. This is not from the exam point of view. For your knowledge, I have put it over here that 1000 Mahayug. That means Brahma's one day is called as Kalpa. Even one night is called as Kalpa. Here I have just put a picture of all the yugas, that is Mahayug, and how many years does every yug have. It is not something related to your exam. Further, Bhagwan discusses what is avyakta and what is vyakta. So Bhagwan tells us that all the 14, we all know that there are 14 worlds. I have mentioned all the 14 worlds over here. There are 7 above us and 7 below us. Now, all these 14 worlds and their planetary systems, they undergo repeated cycles of Srishti, Sthiti, and Pralay. So, all these 14 worlds, they come into existence. It's a cycle. They come into existence, they sustain, that means Sthiti, and again they dissolute. That means they are destroyed. So, it is a cycle which is continuously going on. So, Bhagwan tells us that avyakta, from the unmanifested, all the manifested proceed at the coming day. That means the world is from avyakta. The world is manifested from avyakta. And vyakta is what? All the living entities that are around us, that are vyakta. Now here from Darshan's point of view, the Shadadarshan that you have learned, there also you have come across these two terminologies, that is Vyakta and Avyakta. Avyakta is Prakriti and Vyakta is whatever is created from the union of Purush and Prakriti. Then,
Ma'am, could you please repeat once again?
yes. Here, Bhagwan is talking about Avyakta and Vyakta. Avyakta means something that has not come into existence, which does not exist. Okay, or not exist actually, which is not manifested. So if you have finished learning the darshans, in that in Sankhya Darshan, Purush and Prakriti has been described. So Purush and Prakriti both are in avyakta state. Okay, they're separately, they do exist, but nothing is created from it. So avyakta. Then what happens? Purush and Prakriti, they come together. And from them, because of their union, the entire world came into existence. So from avyakta, vyakta came into existence. So from avyakta, vyakta comes. From Prakriti, from the union of Purush and Prakriti, the entire world has come into existence. Here, I have just explained again that the entire universe dissolves at the end of Brahma's life of 1000 years. The whole material creation, I have given you here the sequence of same what I discussed right now, that is Sankhya. From Panchamaha, the Panchamahabhut, they merge into Panch Tanmatra, Tanmatra into Ahankar. So here, when the dissolution of world takes place, that means the world is created. Now we are all living in this world. So there is sthiti. And then when the world is again going to dissolve, That means again, everything is going to go to avyakta. Now we are in vyakta state. From vyakta, when we are going to go to avyakta state, then how is going to be the sequence? That from Panchamahabhut, our body is made up of Panchamahabhut. Panchamahabhut, they will merge into Pancha Tanmatra. Tanmatra into Ahankar. Ahankar into Mahat, and Mahat again into Prakriti. Prakriti is a subtle form of Maya. So from Vyakta, we are going to go back to Avyakta, that is Prakriti. And that is also called as Mahapralay or Prakrit Pralay. This is not from exam point of view. I've just given you some extra knowledge. Now, Sri Krishna further continues to answer the question Arjuna had asked. How can one be united with God at the time of death? So, further, Bhagwan is explaining that there are two paths. One is the path of light and other is the path of darkness. We all know Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. So path of light is Uttarayan and path of darkness is Dakshinayan. 6 months it is Uttarayan from June, July, mid of June, July till mid of December, Jan is Uttarayan. And from December, Jan to June, July, it is Dakshinayan. So 6 months Uttarayan and 6 months Dakshinayan. So here Bhagwan tells us that the person who detach themselves from worldly attachments, they depart by the path of light and they attain God. So in short, in simple language, what Bhagwan is telling is that when you are detached from everything in the world, then you attain God. Then you are liberated from all the sanskaras. You are liberated from the cycle of birth and death. And that path is called as Uttarayan. I'll repeat again. God tells us that when you are detached from everything in the world, then also you are free from all the sanskaras, from the cycle of birth and death. Then Bhagwan tells us that you will attain me. That is the path of Uttarayan. Bhagwan calls it the path of Uttarayan or the path of light. Here, Nishkam word I have used because you can be detached from everything and only after performing Nishkam karma, you can attain God. Now, fire, flame, daytime, bright fortnight, these are the different words that have been used for Uttarayan. Because fire gives us light, prakash. Flame is also again light. Daytime, that is light. Prakash. So, different words are used for Uttarayan, but the meaning is same. All these words, they indicate the path of the god, which is Uttarayan. And in Prashnopanishad also, if you have studied Upanishads, Pran and Rai, these two terms have been mentioned, depicting sun and moon. We will not go into the detail. If you have studied, you will know it. If you have not, remember that this has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also. Now same Dakshinayan, it is depicted by, we can say, smoke, night-time, where there's darkness, we cannot see anything, dark fortnight, 6 months of the southern solstice. So the words are different, but Bhagwan tells us that it is the path through moon, the path of darkness, where you are attached to all the worldly matters. You have a lot of desires. You are not free from the cycle of birth and death. So you are not free from the sanskaras. That path is called as Dakshinayan. So Uttarayan, according to Bhagavan, it is a path that leads you to moksha, because you are free from attachment, free from sanskaras, free from the cycle of birth and death. Dakshinayana is a path that leads to rebirth and death cycle, because you are still attached to the materialistic thing. There are desires in you. You're not free from the trigunas. That path, it leads to the cycle of birth and death. These are very short chapters. Important points I've covered for these chapters. Now, Adhyay 9, Raja Vidya Raj Guhya Yoga, the royal secret, which has 34 shlokas.
Ma'am, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Ma'am, in the Uttarayan and Dakshinayan, as said by Bhagwan, does it mention that one should born on this day or one should die on during these 6 months, the first half of 6 months and later of 6 months?
Yeah, it
Anything
is.
such
No,
that?
no, no. Yeah. It is not about birth or death during that. It is a path that you follow. That Bhagwan is telling, that is Uttarayan. Uttarayan means where the day is long. Dakshinayan where the day is short. Uttarayan means the 6 months. Bhagwan is not talking about if the people who died during those 6 months. It is not about that. Uttarayan, it is something that denotes good things, that denotes a person being free from sanskaras, free from attachment, free from desire. So it doesn't have a literal meaning that you have to die during that period or you have to be born during that period. It is how our life should be. That for that Bhagwan has used those terms as Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. And because they are of 6 months, we say that Dakshinayan 6 months, because Dakshinayan it is for 6 months, Uttarayan is for 6 months. But what Bhagwan tells over here, I have explained it. So don't go to the literal meaning of the word Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. Uttarayan means freedom from all the things and the path that leads to moksha. Dakshinayan means darkness, ignorance, agyan, which entangles you in the cycle of life and death.
Okay.
Now here, in this 9th chapter, Bhagwan discusses about 3 Vedas, that is Rigved, Samaved and Atharved. We know there are 4 Vedas, okay, but here Bhagwan is discussing only about these 3, Rigved, Samaved and Atharved. Now, in this, Bhagwan is telling us that to those men who worship me alone, thinking of no other, to those ever self-controlled, I secure for them that which is not already possessed by them and preserve for them what they already possess. Bhagwan here is talking about Yog Kshem. So Bhagwan here is telling that those who worship me, or those who have devotion for me, those who devote everything in my service, and they don't think about anything else, they're completely focused on Bhagwan. They're self-controlled. That means they do not have any desires in them. They're free from the from Raja and Tamagun. What does Bhagwan do for such people? Bhagwan tells us, what I do is whatever they already possess, I preserve for them. Kshema means whatever they have, whatever good things or qualities, thoughts, whatever they have, okay, God will preserve. And whatever they don't have, God will grant them. So God will grant all their wishes what they want. And if at all, whatever they have, He will protect those things or preserve them. So Yog Kshem. Now, just like a mother, she never thinks of deserting her newborn child. The child, a baby, needs his mother. Without a mother, A newborn child cannot sustain. And a mother knows that. And therefore, she is always there for that child. Similarly, Bhagwan, Shri Krishna tells that I will always be there for my bhaktas. I will always be there for those who work for me. And how is he going to do that? He says that I will personally take care of each and every person. And whatever they already have, I will protect so that they will not lose it. And whatever they don't have, so whatever they wish, I will grant them all their wishes. And that is called as Yog Kshem. Yog Kshem, very important from exam point of view. You should know the meaning of Yog Kshem. Yog here means that he bestows his devotees the spiritual assets that they do not possess. Remember, spiritual assets. Here, Bhagavan doesn't mean that if the bhakta asks for a bungalow or a car or a foreign trip, Bhagavan is going to grant it. No. Bhagavan is talking about spiritual assets. That means for his spiritual progress, whatever the bhakta needs, Bhagavan will grant it. Why Bhagavan is talking about spiritual assets only? Because the bhakta who is in complete devotion with God, he will be free from the attachment of materialistic things. So he will not ask for any of the materialistic objects or items. He will always ask for something that will help him be one with God or that will help him grow spiritually. So here, yoga, according to Bhagavan, means I will give you something, those things that you do not have, and that will help you grow spiritually. And ksham means whatever you have worked for, you are detached from everything. You are free from sanskaras. You are free from all the desires. Okay, so this type of mind where you're free from all these things, I will protect that. So these are the two things that Bhagavan is telling us: yog and ksham. Yog, ksham, to possess what we don't have and to protect what we already have. This is all in the 9th Adhyay. Let's move to Adhyay 10, that is Vibhuti Yoga. Now here, different kind of Vibhutis have been discussed. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra also, in the third part, Vibhuti path, different types of Vibhutis have been discussed. So when a yogi or a person who is devoted to God, who works for God, he is practicing yoga or he is practicing his devotion or working on the path of God, he attains certain vibhutis. God blesses him with certain paths. So that topic is discussed over here. Arjun prayed to describe his glory. So Arjun said, tell me, in what sense should I think of you? What are you? How should I think of you? Because we know Bhagwan is everywhere. Bhagwan is in everything. And it is not that Bhagwan has a particular shape that this is called as our Bhagwan. It's not like that. So Arjun is confused. Arjun asks, in what sense should I think of you? So when I am worshipping or when I am thinking of you, how should I think? Here, a list has been given in this chapter. I've just put it in a table for you to understand. Read it 4 or 5 times, understand it, and you will get it. The sons of Aditi, Vishnu. So Bhagwan is telling that you should see me as the son of Aditi, that is Vishnu. You should see me in illuminous objects. In the illuminous objects, I am the sun with rays. In the Lord of Stars, I am the moon. So when you see in the sky, you will see a lot of stars. But in the sky, who is Bhagwan? Bhagwan is the moon. During the daytime, during the light time or prakash, he's the sun. In the Vedas, I am Samved. In the senses, I am mind. Among all the gods, I am Indra. So remember, if you looked at this, whatever is Sreshta is God. We know there are so many gods. We know the names of the gods, but we say that Indra is the king of all the gods. Huh? Similarly, when you're learning this from exam point of view, relate it in that way and you will remember. In all the creatures, I am consciousness. In Rudra, I am Shankar. In the Yaksh or demon, I am Kuber. In the mountains, I am Sumeru. In the generals, that means in Senapati, I am Kartikeya because he was a very brave Senapati. In Jalasha, I am sea. Among the great sages, Bhrigu. In Shabda or words, I am the letters. I am Akshar. In trees, I am people. People tree is very huge. In those who are stable, I am Himalaya. Gandharva, I am Chitrarath. Among the Siddha, I am Kapil. Among the horses, Uchchaishrava. Among the elephant, Airavat. In the snakes, I am Sheshnag. Among those who rule, I am Yamraj. Among the water animals, I am crocodile. In procreation, I am Kamdev. Among demons, I am Prahlad, one who kills all the demons. So Prahlad. Among animals, lion. In birds, Garud. Among purifiers, I am the wind. Flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. And of the 12 months of the Hindu calendar, I am Margashish. And of 6 seasons, I am Vasant, which brings flowers. Among the Pandavas, I am Arjun. So Bhagwan here is telling Arjun only. Among the Pandavas, I am Arjun. Among the sages, know me to be Vedvyas. And among the great thinkers, Shukracharya. So Bhagwan is describing, if you want to think of me in this way. Thus my divine powers are infinite. Here, you don't have any choice. You have to learn it in this way only. I have put it in a table form instead of a shlok or the written form because it will be easy for you to learn. At times, a question, they do come from here. So just go on reading, read it for 4-5 times, you will get it. Now, Adhyay 11, Vishwarup Darshan Yoga. The cosmic form. And how many shlokas are there? There are 55 shlokas in this chapter. So in this chapter, Bhagavan is asked by Arjun to, okay, now you have told me, how should I think of you? But now show me your real form. What is your roop? So Vishwa roop, or the infinite cosmic form. Shri Krishna grants Arjun the divine vision to see his infinite form that comprises of all the universe. So Bhagavan immediately grants Krishna his wish. And Krishna, when he sees Bhagavan, when he sees what comes in front of his eyes is everything, the universe, whatever is there in this universe, everything is in form of, is in there in Bhagavan. He could see the universe in Bhagavan. The entire creation of the body of the God, the God's God, his arms, his legs, stomach, everything had universe in it. It had no beginning, no end, and it extended in all directions. That is how Bhagwan was. So from this chapter, nothing comes actually for exam as of now. Adhyay 12, that is Bhakti Yoga, very, very important chapter. Please take notes of this. Shlok, how many shlokas are there? 20 shlokas are there. And not a very big chapter. 2 types of bhaktas have been discussed over here. The chapter begins with Arjun asking whether Sagun Bhakt is superior or Nirgun Bhakti is superior? So, who is superior? Sagun Bhakti or Nirgun Bhakti? Bhagwan here tells that Sagun Bhakti is superior. Sagun means you have a form in front of you, some kind of form, or you meditate on something. And Nirgun is there is no form, nothing. And it is there in your mind. Bhagwan is there in your mind, and you are meditating on something that is formless. That is Nirgun. So actually, if we think of it, humko lagega, we'll think that Nirgun Bhakti is more better. But no, Bhagwan tells Sagun Bhakti is superior. He then explains why. Bhagwan tells us that it is easy to worship a form. So if there is something, an idol or a photo, it could be of Om or it could be of any deity that you can relate to or connect to. It is easy to focus our mind on it. It is easy to meditate on it because there is a form. You can see something. But in Nirgun Bhakti, what happens? There is nothing in front of you. Even if you are closed your eyes in Sagun, still you can see the form that, okay, Ganpati or Om. So that is Sagun. But when we say Nirgun, nothing is in front of you. You're just thinking about God, the formless. You're worshipping the formless entity. Then what happens? It is very difficult to meditate. Our mind will run after the senses, and you will not be able to meditate. And if we don't meditate, if we are not able to meditate, then what is going to happen is mind is going to run after the senses. Then what is good? Desire, then calm, then krodh, then karma, then fruits of karma, and again the cycle of death and rebirth will continue. So Bhagwan tells us that Sagun Bhakt is more superior than Nirgun Bhakt. And which sadhak attains Paramatma? So Bhagwan is telling here about the sadhak. Which type of sadhak he attains Paramatma or Bhagwan? Those who worship the formless aspect, that means Nirgun, the imperishable, the indefinable, the unmanifested, all pervading, the unthinkable, the unchanging, the eternal, and the immovable, by restraining their senses and being even-minded, that is Samabuddhayaha. Everywhere such persons engaged in the welfare of all beings also attain me. So Bhagwan here is describing Nirgun, not Sagun. Initially, when Krishna asked which Bhakt is superior, Bhagwan tells that out of Sagun and Nirgun, Sagun is superior. Now, here Bhagwan is talking about Nirgun. That even though if you meditate, okay, or are engaged in the devotion of Nirgun form, Nirgun, the formless, the absolute truth, still you will attain me. But for that, you have to restrain your senses. You have to be balanced. You have to be some. Some means what? Again, Sthita Prajna, the qualities of Sthita Prajna come over here. That means you don't have any likes, dislikes, happiness, sadness. Everything is some. You're balanced. When a bhakta is in this state, still that bhakta, that means even if you worship me as Nirgun, in the Nirgun form, still you will attain me. But having said that, worship of the personal form is best. But even after that, again, Bhagwan repeats that still, according to Bhagwan, worship of the personal form is the best. That means Sagun is best. Shri Krishna clarifies that in no way does he reject the worship of the formless. He's not rejecting, he's not saying no to Nirgun, but Sagun is superior, is what Bhagwan is telling over here. Now, how to attain Paramatma or ways to attain Paramatma is told over here. Bhagwan tells us that First, what you have to do is fix your mind on me. So when Bhagwan is telling that fix your mind on me, that means no other thought should come in your mind. Only the thought of Bhagwan. Mayyeva mana adhatsva, mayi buddhin niveshaya, nivasasya nivasishyasi mayyeva, atha urdhvanna samshayah. So when you're meditating on me, don't have any doubt. Meditate on me, surrender to me, complete devotion on me. In that way, fix your mind on me. That is what Bhagwan is telling. So the first step of attaining Paramatma is fixing your mind on Paramatma. Then what is the next step? Bhagwan is telling, Atha chintam samadhatun na shaknoshi mai sthiram abhyasa yogena tato mamichhaptun dhanayjaya. Then Bhagwan is telling what? If you are unable to fix your mind, okay, it does happen that we sit to meditate, but we are not able to meditate. Then what to do? Bhagwan is giving the solution for that also. So Bhagwan is not just telling us one way that do this. Bhagwan is giving us different options. Do this. If you're not able to do that, okay, then do this. If not this, then do this. So it's giving us so many options. So Bhagwan tells in the next verse that if you are unable to fix your mind steadily on me, then practice remembering me with devotion, while constantly restraining the mind from worldly affairs. That means practice yoga, practice detachment. Bhagwan is telling that constantly think of me. Just be in my thoughts. Then Bhagwan says, Abhyasepya samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madarthamapi karmani kurvan siddhimavapsyasi. Bhagwan tells you that, okay, if you cannot remember me with devotion, first Bhagwan told, fix your attention on me. Then Bhagwan tells us, if you can't do that, remember me, just think of me. Then Bhagwan says that if you can't do that also, then work for me. Perform every action for Bhagwan. Do this. Then in the next shloka, Bhagwan is saying, Athaitadapya shaktosi kartum madhyogamashritah sarva karma phalatyagan tathak puruyatatmavan. Bhagwan says further that even if that is not possible, if you are unable to even work for me in devotion, then at least do one thing, that renounce the fruits of your actions and be situated in the self. Renounce the fruits of your action. Don't expect anything. Just do your karma and just leave it. Karma phala tyag is what Bhagwan is telling you over here. So Bhagwan has given you different paths to attain. First, he tells, fix your mind on me. If that is not possible, restrain your mind from worldly matters. That is detachment. If that is not possible, then work for me. If that is also not possible, renounce the fruits of actions. These are the different ways that Bhagwan tells us. And out of this, which is the Shreshta path, then Bhagwan tells, okay, I've told you different methods of attaining me, but which is the Shreshta or the best path? Shreyo hi dhyanam abhyasaj jnanadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagat shantiranantanam. Better than practice is knowledge. Better than knowledge is meditation. Better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of actions. For peace immediately follows such renunciation. Bhagwan is telling that better than practice is knowledge. Now, practice here is whatever Bhagwan has told previously. Be free from desire, work from everything in that way. Better than this is knowledge. Better than knowledge is meditation. That means meditate. Better than meditation is renounce the fruits of action. And what happens then? For peace, immediately follow such renunciation. So once you renounce your action, fruits of actions, peace will follow. You will be peaceful. So practice, better than practice is knowledge. Better than knowledge is dhyan. Superior to dhyan is detachment from fruits of objects. And what happens with it is you attain peace. With this, we complete the 12th adhyay today.